Welcome to Other Perspectives. I'm Nancy Kaplan. This is one of two programs focusing on the November 3rd election. On the ballot are several controversial and important items. They are Washtenaw Intermediate School District Enhancement Millage, 2, proposals for charter amendments to Ann Arbor City Charter, and 3, contested city council seats in wards 1 and 4. This half hour we will focus on the enhancement millage. The Washtenaw Intermediate School District Regional Enhancement Millage we will refer to for convenience as the WISD millage. All residents of Washtenaw County of voting age may vote on this millage proposal. Here to discuss the proposal are representatives of two Ann Arbor citizen organizations having opposing views. Christine Stead is a member of the Citizens for Millage Committee for the millage. Kathy Griswold is a member of Citizens for Responsible School Spending against the millage. By way of brief background, let's go back to a special state election held in March of 1994 when the citizens adopted Proposal A to fund K through 12 public education. The objectives of the proposal were to eliminate disparity in school funding between poorer and wealthier districts and to reduce property taxes throughout the state. The changes were 1, reduction in school property tax rate, or mills, 2, capping of the growth rate in property values subject to the tax, and 3, school funding became a blend of property, income, lottery, sales, use taxes, like tobacco taxes to fund K-12 education. Welcome. Welcome, Christine.
You're welcome.
And welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
Christine, let's begin by explaining why the proposed operations millage must go through the WISD. Why not just ask Ann Arbor voters to vote on a tax just for Ann Arbor public schools? And how will the money be divided? Will Ann Arbor get all that it puts in?
Thank you for that question. It's a good start. Actually, Ann Arbor can't, as an individual school district, ask the community in and of itself for something just specifically for Ann Arbor. But what it can do is the county can come together as a region and propose a millage be put on the ballot, which is exactly what happened in this case. The 10 school districts in Washtenaw County came together and all of their boards unanimously supported putting this on the ballot. So the WISD has done that, and what Ann Arbor will contribute is about $16 million in taxable homestead revenue. What they'll get back is $11.2 million in revenue, and that's based on a per student allocation, which is how the money is allocated to all the districts. So it's really allocated by student, which is why Ann Arbor will get a little bit less than it puts in because of more home value, taxable home values.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy, Ann Arbor homeowners and businesses pay several millages. However, we do not keep all the tax money in Ann Arbor. Under Proposal A, school monies are sent to the state and pooled, and then the state decides how much to distribute. What stays local and what goes to the state?
That's really a pretty complicated process in computing the foundation allowance.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Maybe you can just tell us more about what stays with us before we get to the foundation allowance.
Oh, okay. I think one thing that's important to realize in Ann Arbor is since Proposal A, we have asked the voters for additional taxes to compensate for the fact that Proposal A has lagged slightly below the rate of inflation. The voters were very generous with a 1.5 sinking fund in 2002 that was renewed in 2004 for 1 mill, and also in 2004 voters approved a $250 million bond issue, and that allows us to renovate our buildings. We built the new high school, and there are many other items that are funded with the bond now that previously came out of the operating fund.
Okay, so but bonding can't be used for operations, as I understand. Is that correct?
Bonding cannot be used for operations, but there are items that used to come out of the operating funds that are now being purchased out of the sinking fund and the bond, giving us more total operating fund power.
Ah, okay, all right. And Christine, now we'll get into I'd like to build this so that viewer can
okay.
follow. Christine, the state foundation allowance is the annual per pupil payment from the state.
Correct.
Ann Arbor is a hold harmless district, and therefore the per pupil amount is higher than for the non-hold harmless districts. And can you explain to us why hold harmless districts have more money per student?
Sure.
Give us a little history.
Sure. So around 1994, as you had mentioned with Proposal A, there was a hold harmless rule put in place so that districts that had already decided to invest in education more than other districts would be held harmless, essentially. That number for Ann Arbor at that time was $1,234 and remains that same amount. So whatever mills are required based on taxable value, that's what's administered. Now that mills has gone down over time as house values have gone up, but that is the hold harmless component of that.
So the hold harmless, just to reiterate,
Yes.
is because there were these 52 communities in the state
Right.
that were already paying more than the maximum that the state would give.
They were, yes.
And so
right.
instead of making us give less, they said, well, you know, in the other method for property, you were giving more through property
Right.
taxes, and now.
And about, prior to that period, Ann Arbor had traditionally approved about a 6% increase year over year in 1994. So our per student allocation now is $9,723 per student.
Right.
And of that, $1,234 is the home harmless piece.